Golden Blue Dude back with another video just for you. So, if you're a college football or a college basketball fan, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button because that's all we do here. Look, it's a long off season and I'm here to get you through it. And if you haven't checked out our Patreon page, you might want to do that as well. We're putting a lot of time and effort into that, and you can join for as low as $2 a month. That's change around the house. You'll get 8 more live shows, exclusive access to me, and discounts at the merchandise store. And after you're done with this video, go check out goldenbluedude.com. Designed and created by Joey Foster. We have 8 great writers, led by our head writer, Michael Walker. Yes, of course, I have to mention the merchandise store. A lot of great stuff over there. In fact, myself, I ordered 2 t-shirts, the gold one and the blue one. I'm expecting them any day. Can't wait to get them and show them off to my audience. On to today's video. And y'all know me. I'm a diehard West Virginia fan, and I love throwing the horns down and talking trash about Texas. But something serious seems to be going on at Texas. This isn't going to be me trash talking and trying to bash Texas every chance I get. This is a serious subject right here. So what's happened is Steve Sarkisian, the head coach of Texas, has suspended defensive lineman Moro Ojomo. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but that's my best guess. Not for any games, but his media availability because of a statement he made on social media about the state of Texas Longhorn football program for recent years. Here's what the defensive lineman said. They're 18 to 22-year-olds that want to chase women and that want to chase money and that want to chase alcohol, and they don't see the future. They're very distracted by what's in front of them. It's such a hard thing, especially guys that haven't been in a winning culture. That's why it's very easy for a lot of these powerhouses to keep going because it's established. The new guys just come in and they're like, oh, this is how we have to do it. This is what we do. It's so much more difficult. Then he goes on to say, they always talk about coming here and changing stuff. Coming here, changing stuff. Like it's ingrained. You're uprooting? What? 10 years of that's just been let go and go by. They're more worried about being on 6th Street than like balling and making $50 million. As crazy as hell, I don't know why. He tries to explain how the culture of Texas could change and what needs to happen for Texas to actually be back. He says players have to make a stand. Basically say enough is enough. 7-6 BS at Texas isn't happening anymore. We have the ability. We have the talent. Get your mind right. We're gonna win. Honestly, I don't see anything wrong with what he said. I mean, I know he dropped a couple of S words. Those are his words, not mine. But he's very honest and passionate in this statement. I don't see anything wrong with it. Steve Sarkisian's reaction. I think you'd love to have some of the things he said back. His intentions were right, but the delivery and form were poor. What? What did they do wrong? So saying stuff in public is unacceptable. He says this was disheartening and unacceptable. Okay. You got to make sure your own house is in order first before you start to discuss what somebody else is doing or how they're doing it. Well, basically, he was talking about his own house. He was talking about everybody in the Texas football program, including you. You just didn't like what he said. Look, these are young adults. They're passionate. When they see something they don't like, they're going to say something about it. He didn't attack you personally. He didn't attack Texas personally. In fact, what I saw in his statement was he wants Texas to be back. What's wrong with that? Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm an avid West Virginia fan through and through, straight fanatic. And I do horns down all day, every day. But this kid right here, he has heart. He wants things to change at Texas, and you shut his mouth because he's like that. What's wrong with you, Steve Sarkisian? And I want this guy on my team. I want him on West Virginia. He's trying to wake you up, Texas. It's time to wake up. You've been sleeping for far too long. You're too big of a brand. You're too big of a football giant. Why are you still sleeping? And one of your players is trying to wake you up and you shut him down. Shame on you, Steve. You think going 5-7 and losing to Kansas at home is acceptable at Texas? And you think him being concerned about that and that things need to change and he wants things to change and he wants Texas to be great is a problem? Seems like the problem is you, man. You can also support Golden Blue Dude through PayPal. And right now, every single donation is going to go towards getting all of us Golden Blue Dude a P.O. box so that you can send a mini helmet of your favorite team to Golden Blue Dude so that I can display it on my shelving forever. Every little bit helps. And I've said this 1,000 times at least. I think it was a mistake to fire Tom Herman when they did. I mean, his record was 2017, 7-6, 2018, 10-4, letdown year 2019, 8-5, 2020, 7-3. That's when he was fired. Look, yes, he did have a letdown year 2019. But he bounced back in 2020 and had a 7-3 record in a COVID year. Texas was on the move. Texas was on the rise. And the biggest thing that people say, well, Tom Herman was a scumbag. He was at the strip clubs on 6th Street, blah, blah, blah. I get that. Was he doing anything illegal? As long as he's not doing anything illegal and that can bring total shame to Texas, then let him live his life. I'm not about that lifestyle. I don't like what he did, but as a coach, he was getting it done. He had the number 3 recruiting class, then the number 3 recruiting class, then the number 8 recruiting class. He was recruiting his tail off, and Texas was coming back. I did not agree with that fire by Texas. And you know me, I'm a West Virginia fan. I hate Texas, but I'm going to call it like it is. That was a bad choice by Texas right there. Talk about regretting some decisions. Well, first and foremost, firing Mike Brown because your expectations went through the roof. Look what's happened since you've done that. Big mistake. Then you fired Tom Herman. Big mistake. What exactly are you going for? Do you want Texas to start getting turned around? They're like, oh, nope, not fast enough. Get him out of here. What is wrong with you? And I know the biggest concept was Steve Sarkisian was familiar with the SEC, so we wanted Steve Sarkisian to lead us into the SEC. I think that's going to bite you in the rear end, and I think it's going to bite you hard. So real quick, let's look at Texas's schedule for 2022. And it actually sets up quite nicely for Texas. In fact, if Texas goes any lower than 8-4, it's a failure of a year. That's how complimentary this schedule is. Now, they start off with the home game against UL Monroe. That should be a win. Then they get a home game against Alabama. And yes, we can mark that down as a loss. That's a loss. Chalk it up. After that, they get UTSA at home. That's a losable game if you don't play with heart. That should be a win, but could be a losable game if you don't show up. So at this point, you should be 2-1. Then you go on the road to Texas Tech. You have more talent than Texas Tech. They're rebuilding. That should be a win. Then you get West Virginia at home. This should be a win for Texas, but West Virginia just got JT Daniels. And to be honest with you, West Virginia has owned this series. And for the most part, the road team, besides the past 2 years, has owned this series. That's probably going to be a loss. It should be a win, but it's probably going to be a loss because of those facts. So you should be 4-1. After that, Oklahoma and Dallas. That's a 50-50 football game. I'll allow that to be a loss. That's 4-2. Then Iowa State at home. Iowa State lost a lot of key pieces from last year. It's at home. Should be a win. That's 5-2. On the road to Oklahoma State. I'll give you a loss right there. I'll allow you to lose at Oklahoma State. They're going to be pretty good. That's a tough place to win, especially this year. So that's 5-3 right there. Then you get your bye week at Kansas State. That could be tricky. Kansas State is going to be a little bit better this year. They do have to figure out the quarterback position. That's a tough place to win on the road, and Kansas State a smidge better. I'm going to say 50-50. We'll come back to that. After that, TCU at home. Easy win should be. So that's 6-3 at Kansas. Revenge game. You should beat Kansas this year, even though you didn't in 2021. That's 7-3. And then the Baylor game at home. So this is where I'm going to split the last loss, either at Kansas State or Baylor at home. That's 8-4. You go lower than 8-4, that's a disgrace. Shouldn't happen, and you need to start thinking about getting rid of Steve Sarkisian after year 2. I thought it was a terrible hire off the bat. It was confirmed with the 5-7 campaign in his first year. You can say growing pains, blah, 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 blah. No, there's too much talent at Texas to go 5-7 ever, and especially lose to Kansas. If you're okay with that, then I don't know if you're a true Texas fan. I'm just going to be honest with you. So I see a kid that has the passion to call out Texas and say, hey, there's some things we need to fix. Let's fix it. And then a coach that shuts him down. I know his intent was right, but the delivery and the form were poor. Shut up, dude. He cares about this program, and he wants Texas to be good. Maybe you should actually be listening to your players and figure out how to fix what you need to fix. So good luck, Texas, with this jerk of a coach shutting down a passionate player who wants Texas to be great again. He wasn't saying that he doesn't like Texas anymore. He's going to skip town. This is a piece of crap university. No, he was listing all the problems, how it needs to be fixed, and to fix it so Texas should be back. Shame on you, Steve Sarkisian. Shame on you. Y'all let me know in the comments section how you think this situation is going to unfold. Do you think Steve Sarkisian will last past 2022? That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.